Nicole Hansen, certified nutritionist. Nicole is at our studio in Carson City, Nevada at the Fitness for 10. Welcome, Nicole.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Sure, we love your the information that you bring and the wisdom that you bring. It's so benefit. I'm hearing people saying, "Hey, we're watching these videos, and it's so beneficial." So it's nice to hear. So if you guys have comments,
Perfect.
suggestions, anything, put them in the comments section, please. Like and subscribe. That helps get these videos out to more people. So we're going to talk about fasting. It's a big topic. So many questions about fasting, and we'll see what Nicole has for us. But does it help you lose weight? Autophagy? Does it help heal things? Do you burn muscle? There's so many questions about fasting, and so we're going to give our 2 cents here. Um, so fasting, and I'm going to assume we're talking about different types of fasting, which means different lengths and maybe different things that you may be ingesting while you're fasting. So first of all, will you define fasting for us?
Basically, the short version is not eating. So, fasting, one of the reasons why I picked this topic today was because fasting is kind of the hot topic right now for weight loss. And you can do it very wrong. You can really set your system up for failure when you're doing it wrong. And just listening to short snippets of blurbs on the Instagram and all that kind of stuff. So I really wanted to touch base on how to do this, who should do this, who should not do this, because there's a lot of people out there that shouldn't be fasting, and it could actually harm the system. So fasting is when you do not ingest a meal, ingest food, you have water. And to do it simply and to do it correctly, you guys, is to you don't want to. I get a ton of questions on this. Well, can I have creamer in my coffee? Well, can I have coffee? you know, to do it right, it's water. It really is water you have for the time period that you have the fasting window of what you're doing. You can do all sorts of different fastings. 12-hour fastings is usually where people start with. And that's pretty darn simple. That's starting and going to bed, shutting it down at 7 o'clock, opening back up at, 7 o'clock the next day, and then opening your fasting window, your eating window. And my biggest complaint out there is people who are doing fasting and people who are giving advice on fasting, that they say you can open it up with any kind of food you want. And that's simply not true. You should be opening your window of eating with a protein and a fat. You should not open that window up with a bagel with peanut butter and jelly on it. That's actually going to skyrocket your glucose levels, and your blood sugar is going to go through the roof. And that will be really hard to recover from. So some of the things that fasting does do for us that's amazing is it helps our human growth hormone reproduce in our system. And as Steve, as we get older, we lose this hormone. We start to lose it as we age. And anything we can do to keep that human growth hormone in check in our bodies, that's really helpful. They call it the fountain of youth. So it keeps our skin healthy. It keeps our muscles growing, all of that kind of thing. It increases our metabolism by 10%. That's a big deal when you haven't had a good metabolism for a long time because you've been eating the standard American diet and your body is trying to wade through all of the crap we've put in it. It helps that. One of the biggest benefits we get from fasting is called autophagy. And that's where our body taps into our own fat storage and utilizes our own fat on our body, but it sloughs off dead cells that we wouldn't normally overturn for 30 days. We can slough off dead cells for each day that we're fasting. That's really beneficial. That's when you get into things like, autoimmune conditions and cancers and that kind of stuff, you're sloughing off those dead cells so that we can repopulate the good, healthy cells right away and help fight off things that we have going on in our system. The other thing is it increases ketones. So we can do this with a ketogenic diet, but we can also do this with fasting. This crosses the blood-brain barrier and helps our body, it helps our brain to be more focused. It's like food for our brain. It's what our brain actually likes the best to run on. So when I fast, I really like the focus I get. Every 3 months, I do a 3-day fast. And I'll tell you what, I get so much energy on that second day that you're like, my husband's like, holy cow, we're not doing this again. You're cleaning the house like a mad woman. And also, you guys, this is a big deal, and we're going to be talking about this soon, is leaky gut. It helps seal up tight junctions and helps prevent leaky gut from happening. And 99% of people out there are walking around with leaky gut. And I can go into that more in another show, but those are just some of the benefits of fasting. How to do this properly, like I said, stick with water. Something like bone broth is very healing to the gut. Bone broth is one of my staples I have in my diet at all times because I also have an autoimmune condition and it helps with that. But you can add in, if you're just trying to get started in fasting, bone broth is a really good way to curb that need for that hunger sensation. And black coffee. You can get away with black coffee, but I would just stick to water and bone broth. Here's who should not do fasting. Somebody who is in a high stress situation, like a high stress job, that you're working very long hours, very late hours, and you're constantly stressed about it, and you're having a hard time sleeping, that kind of stuff. That should not be when you start fasting into your diet. Somebody with an undiagnosed thyroid problem, you suspect you have thyroid, or your medication is not dialed in, you should not be doing fasting because that's putting extra stress onto the thyroid, which will tank it even more. PCOS. So this is kind of controversial, and I would talk to somebody who knows what they're doing with fasting. PCOS is basically when you have too high of blood sugars in the system and you're having trouble getting pregnant. You have PCOS. You should not fast because you don't want to put stress on the body. Fasting is a stress to the body, but it is a good stress. You don't want it to be perceived as a bad stress on the body. And somebody who has really severe adrenal fatigue, if you are really tired and you can't seem to make it out of bed and you are just sluggish through your entire day, you need to learn how to fast properly and add in certain fastings that will help the adrenals, not hinder them. When I very first started fasting, I started with a 12-hour fast, went into a 16-hour fast, and pretty soon I was up to a 24-hour fast. But you never want to stay in a perfect 12-hour, 16-hour every single day. You want the body always guessing, so you get the best out of autophagy. So shake it up. Do a 12-hour fast one day, put 3 meals in for the next day, put a 16-hour fast in the next day, and like I do, every 3 months, I'll just cleanse the system with a 3-day fast.
That's you give some great pointers on that, and I'll tell you how I break my fast. But also, a 12-hour fast happens by accident usually.
Yes,
So
totally.
it's not hard. If you stop eating at 7 and then don't eat until 7 the next morning, that's 12 hours. Guess what? A 14-hour fast is pretty easy. And a 16-hour fast, which I usually do, is also very easy. A 14-hour fast is you stop eating at 7, you don't eat breakfast, break fast, and I'll give my 2 cents on that in a second. But that's a 14-hour. If you skip breakfast, which is not hard to do,
No.
you're at a 16-hour fast. Um, so and I love what you said about breaking the fast because that's critical. You don't do it with oatmeal. I break my fast with a tablespoon of olive oil, organic, highest quality olive oil I can get, and a tablespoon of organic, highest quality MCT oil I can get, some fish oil, and then I bring in the bone broth. So that's
Mhm.
how I break my fast. That's the first thing that goes in my body after 14 or 16 hours is the perfect fat across the board and bone broth, or sometimes I'll use bone broth and essential amino acids. I'll
Mhm.
throw that in there. Sometimes I'll use a greens formula, cruciferous formula with protein in it and some
Mhm.
essential amino acids. So that's how I break my fast. But the key is those fats that I get first, and then I chase it with some protein.
It's really important. And I love how you break that because you're not breaking the autophagy with that. When you open it up with a really high quality fat, it's keeping that autophagy rolling for you. So that's a perfect way to break it. And then how far do you have that from your first substantial meal?
Uh, that's it. It depends. Sometimes I'll do it again. So I might do that at 9 o'clock, and then I might do it again. If I'm hungry, I might do it again at 1, and then I'll have one meal with substantial amount of protein and maybe some carbs around 5 or 6. I rarely eat past 6 o'clock. I'm usually done eating by 5. But the other really good point that you put in there that I really like is don't do the pattern. Don't let
Ugh,
your body see the
no.
pattern. So whether you're exercising or fat, don't do it the same all the time. Throw your body curveballs. Make it get good. I'm using a baseball analogy here. Make it get good at hitting fastballs, knuckleballs, curveballs, change up. Because if your body can hit all those things, I'm just pulling this off the top of my head, this baseball analogy. If your body can only hit fastballs, it's not going to be as good a player as if it can hit fastballs, change up, curveballs,
Right.
knuckleballs, screwballs, whatever. And so
And we all know that life throws that at us.
yeah, and that was a good point. So don't always get in the habit of I stop eating at exactly 5, I start eating at exactly 10. Do it different. And I'll
Mhm.
even sometimes I'll throw some carbs in there and I'll eat sometimes 4 or 5 times a day. Now, that's not good for me at my age to eat 4 or 5 times, but if I'm doing it, it's going to be mostly quality fats and so on. But I
Right.
do that because that's the change up. And so that was a really good point that you made there, Nicole. I appreciate that. So, um,
Yeah, and the other thing too is just like that, our body likes that in food too. Don't have the exact same meal every single week. Your body likes all the rainbow of colors so that we're getting all the bacteria, the good bacteria buildup. It always throw the body. It's very smart. The other thing is that I just want to leave this with is you know, be aware of if you are truly hungry because when I started my fasting journey, I always ate at 9 o'clock in the morning. Well, when I started fasting, when did I get hungry? 9 o'clock in the morning. It wasn't that I was actually truly hungry. My brain was wired to be that eating at that time. So don't if you're struggling with that, just wait 30 more minutes. If 9 o'clock is your hour, for an example, wait till 9:30. You'll push past that little brain trigger of I'm hungry, I'm hungry. You're not really hungry.
yeah,
Have a big glass of water and wait 30 minutes, and then you'll start rolling through heavier fasting.
yeah, great point there too, because you find out 30 minutes later, hey, I'm not really hungry at all. And you can keep
Yeah,
going. But when you eat at 9, there, fastball, fastball, fastball.
yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. That wasn't a fastball. And that's good for your body.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, we appreciate you being with us, Nicole. We'll have you back again. We're getting a lot of interviews with you. So if you have questions for Nicole, please put them in the comment section. Um, if you want to find out more about me, the health clubs that I own and my businesses, or questions for me, put those in the comments. You can also check out stevemain.com or Parkway Athletic Club, or Fitness for 10. You can see where all the clubs are and what we do. And for Nicole, again, if you have questions, put them in that comment section and we'll connect you with her if you have needs. She is a certified nutritionist and a good one. So that's what she does. Let us know what you need, guys. And thanks for being with us, Nicole.
Thank you for having me.